Hi, my name is Meredith Stewart, and I'm a sixth grade English and history teacher at an independent school called Cary Academy in Cary, North Carolina, and it's actually a one-to-one laptop school. Like I said, I teach sixth grade, and we do a lot of collaboration both within our classroom groups and also across the school and with people in other states. We focus more on collaboration within the classroom and amongst the school. One of the things that we've done in this past year is that each student has his or her own blog, and so students use those for a variety of classes, not just English, but they use them for their music classes by uploading music and then commenting on their performances. They do math journals on there. They use them for history projects and English writing. And we students, as a part of their regular assignment, comment on each other's blogs. And so hopefully it's not just sort of a posting this out to the world, but also a conversation that starts within and among them. We also, this past year, did a project. I was teaching a book called The Red Scarf Girl, and was just curious what was on Wikipedia about that book, and went and looked and saw that it was just the back of the book. And so one response might have been to be really excited as a teacher because kids aren't going to cheat. But what we did instead was to use that as an opportunity for students to work with another class in Massachusetts to really think about the kind of content that should be in that entry, and then to draft that content using a different wiki and then post it to Wikipedia. And that was really exciting for students to be able to see their work contributing to this larger body of knowledge on the internet. We've also used a site called Etherpad to write collaboratively, so it allows students to both have a chat going on, but also be writing and be able to write together. So those are a few things that we've done in my classroom over the past year or so.
Well, a few questions about that.
Sure.
Well, first of all, you didn't even have to spend any time justifying putting sixth graders online. Are these are publicly available, right? When you said that they blog to the world.
The blogs are publicly available. They're not searchable, so they're not accessible easily by Google or other search engines, but they are publicly available. We did spend a lot of time talking about that with students. It wasn't a difficulty as far as the administration goes, but we wanted to make sure that we had good conversations with students about, that this was viewable by the world, that people probably wouldn't go looking for it, but that it would be publicly available. And so we, talked about some safety kinds of things, only putting your first name on things, but also just thinking about how you wanted to represent yourself, because these are students who have never known a world without the internet, and will grow up in their digital lives, their digital footprint, if you want to call it that, will follow them throughout their lives. And so starting early in the middle school age, I think, is really important, because then they've sort of have had exposure to those best practices and had an opportunity to talk about them at school with their teachers.
What's the benefit of shifting so radically from performing for the teacher? You turn in your paper, you turn in your test, and the teacher sees it and the teacher grades it, to performing for each other. That's a pretty big step.
It is a big step, but I think it's also a step that better mirrors what happens in the adult world, and that also can be motivating in that it creates an audience, but can also create a stronger community. So as a teacher, I teach for my students, but I also post articles online and get feedback from other teachers, participate in a Ning community, and that, I know for myself personally, that's really motivating and fulfilling, and students have had the same kinds of reactions when someone else comments on their post, or they're able to send a link to the literary magazine to their grandmother or to a friend that they met at summer camp. That's exciting to them, and also strengthens those relationships that they have with those people.
What do you do to kind of lubricate collaborative writing, since it's new to students, and many students are kind of thrown by something that doesn't have a single author to the document, and in which people might change each other's work? How do you approach that, or how do you frame that when you first get them going?
Yeah, I think for some students that's strange, especially within the school context, but but that's not necessarily totally foreign to them, right? They're used to posting things on the internet that then get commented on by other people. So if they have a Facebook page or a MySpace page, they're used to there not being sort of one author for that page. They still see the space as theirs, and in the end, when we do group work, people still have pieces of that they're individually responsible for, but the idea of this sort of being something that we all share together, yeah, I mean, for some kids it takes a little bit of getting used to, but for some of them, it's really exciting because they'll have an idea and then somebody else improves upon it, and so they see in the end. And we talked to them about this when we did the Etherpad exercise. Was your story better, do you think, than it would have been if you just written it yourself? And they talked about some ways in which that might have been true or might have not been, depending on the group of kids that were writing.
What would you say to other educators out there who are not in such ideal circumstances as you are, about persuading people, everyone from the administration to the parents to the children, of the benefits of teaching the way you are, using online media, using collaborative work, and making it available to the world?
Sure. I think there are ways that it can be done even if you're not in a situation where every student has a laptop, right? You can, once every week or once every 2 weeks, you can reserve a laptop card if you have that, or go to the computer lab, or even if you just have one computer in your classroom, you can appoint a blogger of the week, and one student, writes a blog post every week. I think you start to see the benefits once you do it. And I can talk all day about the benefits of it, but some of it just takes being willing to, risk a class period or two, maybe a period where you would have shown a movie otherwise, and try it and see how it works. There'll be frustrations along the way. I call our tech guy and say, I can't believe this isn't working, kind of thing. But it's that day when you post a student project on the web and they're so proud of it and so excited about it, and then you see the conversation start to develop around that I think you really get some sense of the benefits. And if you're a person in a school and you're excited about using online technology and having your students collaborate and do project-based learning, and there aren't a lot of other people who are excited about it, I would say just go ahead. And then as people see you being excited about it, and also see your students being excited about it, then they'll naturally sort of drift to you and say, hey, I saw this thing you were doing with your blog. Could my students do that with their blog? And so I'm a big proponent of just go ahead and do it. And then people will follow. Maybe some later than others, but people see what you're doing and that kids are excited about it. And they also see the strength of that community growing too.
Thank you, Meredith. It's exciting to think about the other teachers out there who are going to be inspired by what you've said and get started doing it. So I'm so glad I encountered you through my personal learning network, and look forward to future discussions.
Absolutely. Well, and I just want to say, too, there are a lot of people who have really done great work before me and who continue to inspire me and support me, and I really appreciate that.